Governor J.B. Pritzker signing all kinds of legislation lately, including a measure that makes some certain guns illegal. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Now 7:29. Gonna push the news just a few more minutes here, so bear with us, because I definitely want to get both sides of this particular debate about so-called ghost guns. What are ghost guns? They're personally manufactured firearms, personally manufactured guns. And federal law does not make that illegal. It's totally within the bounds of federal law for you to make your own firearm if it's for your personal use. Here's from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives website. It says that a license is not required to make a firearm solely for personal use. So that's according to federal law. However, you do need to get a serial number and kind of track if you're going to transfer that firearm to somebody else or to sell it to somebody else. So Governor J.B. Pritzker, Wednesday, he signed a measure that he said is another tool to help cut down on some kind of gun violence, and they gave a bunch of statistics about the increased number of these unserialized guns that are being confiscated in Chicago, for instance. He had a whole host of state lawmakers with him yesterday in Chicago. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was there. Chicago Police Superintendent was there as he signed this measure that now it's law. It's law. So if you have a personally manufactured firearm, the clock's ticking for you to register that, or you could face a felony. You're looking at 180 days here to actually register and get that firearm serialized. And the law spells out that within 180 days, you got to get this done, and a federally licensed firearms dealer is where it can be done. But I talked with one of those yesterday who said they're not going to take part in this at all. So here you'll hear Governor J.B. Pritzker, followed by Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown, and that'll be followed up by Dan Eldridge. He is the owner of Maxson Shooter's Supply and Indoor Range in Des Plaines, saying that he's just not going to take part in this program because, well, quite frankly, it could open him up to all kinds of different types of liabilities and investigations. So here's that back and forth.
A child should not be able to build an AR-15 like they're building a toy truck.
Right.
A convicted domestic abuser should not be able to evade scrutiny by using a 3D printer to make a gun. This law will ban those ghost guns and others and will help keep families and communities safe.
So, yes, there are already guns out there. I think that's the point we've all tried to make, that a ghost gun is a gun like all the other guns. It's just a ruse to not have a serial number or a way to track and hold someone accountable to either manufacturing or buying and selling the gun. So this bill will close that ability to really hide from consequences, particularly in our courts, because it's not serialized.
I think that the real problem is going to be implementing this law, because you're going to have, unless there is a new class of FFL that wishes to engage in this business, I can't imagine why an FFL would want to be in the business of serializing a firearm. Serial number is supposed to be an abbreviated version of our federal firearms license number with a numerical serial after that. Well, our FFL number is not a secret. So if I were to do one, then I open the door for people to use my FFL, create their own fake serial number, say, yeah, we had it done at Maxson's and they've got the paperwork, when I don't. And now I'm in the position of trying to prove a negative, that, no, I never serialized that gun. I don't have the records for this. And now I'm liable for not having records for something that never came in the door. So why would I do that? It's much easier for me and much safer for me as a business owner to say, I'm not interested in doing this and I'm not capable of doing this. And so if somebody comes up with a Maxson serialized personally manufactured firearm, it was clearly done fraudulently.
So he says that he doesn't know any other gun dealers in Illinois that are going to take part in this, which means those who have a firearm that's personally made, totally legit under federal law. In Illinois, that's illegal. In 180 days, you've got to get that thing serialized somehow. If not, violations of the law range up to a Class 2 felony, punishable by up to 7 years in prison. So that is now a law that Governor J.B. Pritzker signed. Let's get one call here real quick in reaction to this at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You are on WMAY. What are your thoughts?
Morning, GB. How goes it?
Good. Got very little time here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm just saying, somebody that personally owns several self-manufactured firearms, I just don't really see what we're going to do with the FFLs. I mean, there's a whole list of lines of serializing a firearm itself. It's got like lot numbers and manufacturers and stuff like that. And sort of what the that gun store was saying is how are we going to be able to trace that? And that they don't really leave us any real logical options to keep it legal. So this is basically turning me into a felon overnight without breaking any federal laws.
Yeah, and again, 180 days for you if you have a personally manufactured firearm to get that thing serialized, but are you going to be able to find a federally licensed firearms dealer that's going to serialize that for you? Hearing both sides of this, talking to those who are impacted instead of just rip and read press releases. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and